Hi guys, in this lesson we are going to explain how to convert the data types of objects from one to another. Sometimes you will need it to make some calculations with integer values of your data frame. You might have some errors while making some calculations, and in that case you might need to convert the data types of integer values inside of your column. So let's first create a new file and call it astype method. Type method. Okay, let's first try to read our file, and then we will use the method itself. As I have explained, as astype method is used to cast PANDAS objects to a specified data type. So first let's create or import our PANDAS library spd. Then I will read the data frame, read csv, and our data is located in the data folder. And if I go back here inside of the data folder, I have this file called claimants.csv. I will copy it, paste it here, and call the data here. Okay, I forgot to include pd here. What's the problem? File such why? Because we haven't put the slash here. Click shift enter. You could see we have imported our data here. Now if I just print out the first, for example, the first 20 rows of this data, and see the columns here, some columns might have what, nan or null values here. If I type in the Control A and nan here, in this case when we have 20 rows to be printed, we have only one nan value, but we will check it in detail right now. Before starting to convert the data types, we should be aware that the columns which have these nan values could not be converted or casted. PANDAS will throw an error while trying to cast it. So before converting the data type of a column, make sure that you have replaced or changed all the null values. We will do it in practice, don't worry here right now. Let's first try to call the dfinfo method here, and it will print out all the data types and this count of these or data frame here. But here it might not show you as they are interpreted as objects. It will say that each column has not null values here. But if I try to call the isnull method here and click shift enter, it might print the true or false values dependent on your column value here. If your column value has a null value, it will print out the true here. But if I add one more method here called sum method, and click shift enter, this is the new strategy of printing it out. I haven't explained it in the previous lessons. So this is when you are adding the sum method to your isnull method. It just prints out the null values in each column, the count of null values in each column. In that case, for example, CL image column has 189 null values inside of this column here. We could even make it a bit specific. If I type in the CL image column itself here and type in isnull, and then I will type in again sum here, click shift enter, you could see that the result will be the same. It basically says that seat belt column has 48 null values, this column has 41, and etc. Basically, instead of the isnull, we could even use what? Isna method here. This method is also the same as the isnull here. It also prints out the number of null values. Now I will do what? I will convert the data types of my data frame columns here. So we are open to convert the first two columns here. If you pay attention, the first two columns has no null values inside of this, and the last column doesn't have a null value. So we are open to convert these columns here. And let's first try to convert these columns, and then we will work on these null valued columns here. First, I will just add a couple of lines, and I know that case num attorney, for example, case num color has not null values, and I will try to convert this column to the integer. If I type in the again data frame dtypes here, I will print out the data types of each column here. It will say that case num column has integer and attorney as well, but the other columns have float data types here. So first I will try to convert this integer data type column to the float, because this column and this one does not have null values here. Okay, so let's type in the df the name of the column, case num equals, again, this is up to you. If you want to use it this syntax like that, you can do it, and it's suggested to use this syntax here. Then I will again copy this column here and combine it or add what? Astype method, astype. Then I want to convert it to the float. I will type in the float in the parameters here. And if I click shift enter and again print out the data types here, click shift enter, you could see that it has converted this case num column integer data type to the float here. Basically we have added what? Astype float parameter with the help of this astype method. If you have an error while converted it by passing it as it is, try to entail it with the code, because this is the predefined Python function and you might face the problem sometimes, and that's why I will just suggest you to entail it in the quotes. If you want to convert it and then run it again, it will again print out or convert this column data type. Okay, let's convert a float to an integer. If I have a float here, let's see, float, this lost one is also float and it has no values, and I will, in the same way, I will do what? Convert the float to the integer. Inside of this one, I will type in loss, again loss, and click shift enter, then df data type here, df dtypes, shift enter, sorry, integer. I will convert the float to the integer here, because this one is the float, and if I run it again, you could see that it has converted our float data type column loss to the integer here. So if I try to convert the other columns here, which have null values, let's again print out all the columns here is null sum, and here shift enter, and if I want to convert one of them, let's take one of them, and the maximum null values has this column here, and I will first try to do what? Replace or just fill in these null values with some number here, and then I will convert it. Basically, if we have a null or nan value inside of your columns here, and then but basically it has no meaning, and no meaning or nothing means zero. That's why what I can do, I can replace it with the zero, but before replacing it, let's print out what? The error what would it print in case that we would just copy it like that or convert it like that. Or column name could be clmg. I just want to show you the error, what would it print. And if I just try to convert it, basically because it has the float data type here, clmg has a float, and I want to convert it to the integer without changing the null values, click shift enter, you could see that it's loading and printed out the error and says that it can convert non-finite values, etc. That's why we should do what? First change the null values. So I will type in df name of the column, and now I will do what? I will try to fill it these values. We have already explained fill the method here, and I will fill it with what? With 0 as an example, as I said before, because 0 has no meaning here. That's why I try to convert to the 0 or fill all these null values with 0 here, this one with 0. Okay, and make it permanent then with the help of the in-place true parameter. And then if I click shift enter and again calling the data types, or again the column itself, clmg, and isnull sum, click shift enter, you could see that it will print out 0. And even between the columns I can show you it right now. Yes, you will see that we have defined the in-place true, and it has replaced all null values to the 0 here. And now I can convert it, but before converting it I will just remind you or make a note that we have also what? One more attribute for getting to know does it has any value or no. Let's type in the column name calmatch, right, clmatch, right, and if I add in what? Hasnans, click shift enter, it will print out the false. This attribute basically prints true if your column has the null values, otherwise it will print out the false. Just pretty useful to know this one. And now I will try to convert this column name to the integer here. First I will try the column name here equals column name, then again copy this one equals to column name, and as type what? Integer, because by default it has what? Float here. And if I run it, shift enter, nothing is printed, basically because our code is correct. And if I type in the data types again, click shift enter, you could see that it has converted our integer value or floating value to the integer. Okay, I think that this was enough. This was the basic introduction of converting the data types of columns here. That's it for now. In the future, maybe we'll cover some of the more lessons related to these data types. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel. Have a good day. Bye.